Hello, folks, and welcome back to week 15 of Rhetoric 306 at the University of Texas with me, Dr. Jennifer Sapio. It has been a great pleasure to be with you all these weeks, and now on the final leg of our Project 4 assignment, I have changed our landing and welcome page here to see the horizon ahead, folks. You have the end of the semester, just a few more steps ahead of you. You have done such excellent work this semester with your Project 1 water quality assignment, with your Project 2 report on the document sets that you collected for all of your very interesting and pressing topics, your Project 3 proposals where you indicated a solution to the problem you were researching. And now we're translating that research and that proposal into a different multimodal format for Project 4. I'm excited to see what you are working on, your websites or your podcasts or your videos or your infographics or your PowerPoint presentations for this week. So without further ado, again, congratulate yourselves on the great work that you have accomplished. Here is a word cloud with just some of the concepts and the topics that we've covered in our reading and our examples, our analysis, our online discussions, and in, of course, your writing practice. You have been reading peer-reviewed and newspaper articles, op-eds, discussing stakeholders in issues, analyzing logos, and attending to the rhetorical triangle. I'm not going to read all of the words here. But this is just a moment to pause and reflect and appreciate and congratulate yourselves on the great work that you have accomplished in this rhetoric and writing class to date so far in this semester, and hopefully that accomplishment will last and motivate you for this last leg of the course. So last time we really carefully looked at the assignment instructions for Project 4, and so go ahead and take a look again at that video if you haven't seen it yet. Again, last time I went through all of the assignment instructions on Canvas, which you can see there under modules on the course website. And this is what your work for this week is. It's a 10% portion of your grade. So relatively speaking, it's the smallest weighted of all of the projects. So kind of take a deep breath, breathe, and kind of play in this multimodal way. I hope that kind of relatively low weighted element of the assignment will give you some freedom and some joy in experimenting in perhaps a different format than you have tried before. So again, I look forward to seeing your slide decks or your videos, your podcasts, your infographics. Excuse me. And last time we talked through some of those design elements as far as the visual parts of your potential Project 4 assignments. And today we're going to look at a couple more of those because I just found this New York Times call for visual opinion papers, and I wanted to share that with you and look through a couple of examples. But also I wanted to show you some podcasts today, as well as just make sure that you're aware of the excellent materials in the textbook you're reading from for this week. Will include chapter 15, which has step-by-step how-to instructions for creating podcasts and websites specifically, if that's what you're interested in. So that's where we're headed for this week. Let's go ahead and click into this link to the New York Times visual opinion pieces. Follow me there. Okay, I have this site linked for you all on the Canvas course website, New York Times opinion page here. Actually, it's a call for visual opinion pieces with several examples. So please, of course, do feel free to answer this call with your project for piece, but also refer to it for these excellent examples where you can see textual and visual elements combined in a long read, a long essay. America's Wildest Place is open for business here that has visual elements throughout. This may not be exactly what you all would like in the course, again, because it is such a text-heavy format, but you can see here the incorporation of maps, images that can help to tell the story. You may just condense the textual elements and do more of a photo essay if that interests you. Okay, let's head back to the example, excuse me, the example list again. You have a chart-based piece here, our broken economy in one simple chart. And again, you have this excellent chart on income growth over the previous 34 years and how the very affluent 99.999th percentile sees the largest income growth today. I'm just quickly going through these to really land on, oh, here it is. This is the one I wanted to land on. A snappily written argument made through visuals and using our TAP essay format. Y'all, I'm going to put my face here to say, pay attention here. This TAP essay format. Very interesting. Kind of, it's essentially a PowerPoint slide that's interactive, set up on a website where you can click through. Let's take a look here. The title is Automated Vehicles Can't Save Cities. Y'all, I need to take a sip of my Dr. Pepper because I'm having a hard time. Okay, Allison Arif writes here, and you click through the piece. You can click anywhere on the page. This is what streets looked like in the early 1900s. Okay, we have a simple sentence starting the TAP essay here. Let's tap through. There are people walking and riding bikes. There are horses, push carts, and even horseless carriages. Simple imagery here. Simple font, good contrasting colors. We could create this on Canva or some other slide preparation program. It's chaos. We've got in big size, as David Phillips was telling us last week from how to avoid death by PowerPoint. That size is helpful in directing the reader's attention. It works because, our writer says, no single mode of transportation is privileged. Look at that same street today. It's designed primarily for cars and more cars, okay? Now look at this. We've got some embedded video on a loop. Enter the autonomous vehicle. It's one of the most talked about solutions to a host of urban problems. Y'all, you have the skills and capability to create something just like this. Look, it is a still image, traffic in New Delhi. The image is cited from Getty Images. You would just say, image from unsplash.com. It's a simple text on top, which you can draw or borrow from your proposal language or other materials that you've already drafted in the course. When I saw this, I thought this is so sleek and elegant and effective and persuasive, and my students have the capability to create this. Okay, so let's keep clicking through this TAP essay. One of the most talked about solutions, from traffic congestion to CO2 emissions and lack of green space. But, and here's where our opinion author breaks in with their position. The reality is that AVs alone won't save cities from these problems, they argue. They could actually make them worse. Look at that contrasting color, that signaling yellow there. Promise number 1 is that AVs will reduce congestion by removing cars from the road. But in reality, all cars take up the same amount. I'm missing the bottom of this slide there. The same amount of space. Promise number 2, AVs could help create more public space because they would eliminate the need for parking structures. Is that true? This could happen, but right now, companies aren't willing to build anything without space for cars. Apple's new campus, for example, is building a parking structure with enough room for 11,000 cars. Look at that embedded video, really powerful imagery there. Another promise that AVs will be shared, meaning fewer cars on the road, but that's not necessarily true. Our author suggests Americans love their cars and would be unlikely to give them up. There are many more promises. This just scratches the surface. But our op-ed writer goes on here to suggest that problems could be solved or could turn into a dystopia. But we need to, here's their position, regulate how AVs will operate in cities sooner rather than later. And more importantly, we need to design streets for people, not cars. That's their position. And again, I am just clicking through. And again, you have this linked in your Canvas course website so you can experience this interactive experience yourselves. It's really quite, can I say, like fun. This is a fun way to engage with this material. And so again, I'll encourage folks. This is something I think you could pretty easily put together. Let me take that back. Not easily, but intuitively, and you have the skill set to do this on canva.com even. Okay, when we think about designing the future city, let's focus on, here's the end, moving as many people as possible. I'm sorry, the sizing here is cutting off the top of the title there, but here's how many people can be moved by transit, by walking, by biking, and then cars are even below that. Transit moves the most people, up to 25,000 people per hour, so let's make transit the first priority. Look, they're reimagining this future street. Next comes walking with 9,000 people per hour on new, larger sidewalks, and then dedicated bus lanes and two-way bike lanes come next. And finally, cars, which move the fewest people per hour, about 600 to 1,600, would come last. And that's this person's position about urban transportation, moving people, not cars. And again, I'm just clicking through each tap there, changing the line of this multimodal kind of textual, visual, and sometimes video presentation. It's just awesome, right? Do y'all like it? I hope so. Our priorities for space and investment become obvious. The author writes, this is what the city of the future could be if we regarded AVs as just one tool among many for saving cities. There you go. Automated Vehicles Can't Save Cities by Allison Arif. Illustrations and production and special thanks notes there as well. So that was the TAP essay I wanted to show you all. And again, please do answer that call for visual opinion pieces from the New York Times linked on the Canvas course website. Send in your Project 4 assignments when they're done at the end of this week and see if you can get them published in the New York Times. Certainly not required, but let me know if you do. So now let's go and look at Some podcast examples. I know we've seen a couple, but I wanted to show you a handy site where the NPR has collected a number of podcasts there. So follow me over to NPR. Okay, so we're on the opinions page for npr.org, and you will notice here that we have several short audio stories. Of course, NPR is radio, and so they're operating that audio modality. And we can just click through and listen to any of these short pieces and see how their production kind of is outlined, and take a listen. So we've got a Sondheim piece, one about hugging in the animal kingdom. Let's go ahead and listen to that one.
Animals are candid. It's part of why we love them. If they're hungry, they'll roar, growl, or bark. If they itch, even in a most intimate and inaccessible spot, they'll scratch. We have a dog who gets so excited about people she relieves herself on the floor. Do we wish Daisy were more subtle in her delight? I suppose. But animals reveal what they feel without apology or restraint. Among all the urgent news stories this week, it was cheering to read an account from Emma Bryce on Live Science that said, "Animals hug for comfort, reassurance, and warmth." Zana Clay, a primatologist at Durham University in the UK, told Live Science about bonobos who've been by hunting and now live at a sanctuary in the Democratic Republic of Congo. "You have quite a lot of young orphans who need quite a lot of reassurance," she said. "They hug together and walk along the little train." She says a bonobo in distress will reach out their arms for another bonobo and sort of ask for help. Young orangutans hug each other when they see snakes. Wouldn't you? And chimpanzees, Zana Clay told Live Science, will hold on to one another when they're frightened, say by a growling predator or after 45 minutes on hold with an internet service provider. Crested black macaques call out for hugs by smacking their lips loudly. I had an uncle who did that. And spider monkeys, according to the report, even hug each other to keep disagreements from sharpening into conflicts. Two mafia dons in a Martin Scorsese film who throw their arms around each other to declare a truce. Maybe Ted Cruz should have hugged Big Bird before he criticized him. That's a hug that would have gone viral. And hugs are not just the province of primates. Horses groom each other. It lowers their heart rate, as do prairie voles. Dolphins apparently console one another with flipper rubs. It's tempting to see all the hugs, rubs, and lip smacks among animals as something they share with us humans, but there is a critical difference. The animals mean it. Human hugs, says Zana Clay, have become a kind of conventionalized greeting or parting gesture. Apes don't tend to do that. In the holiday season just ahead, many of us feel a need for hugs after so many months of separation. But even if you're fully vaccinated and boosted, please, for the love of Mama Stamberg's cranberry relish, don't hug a bonobo. You got a friend in me.
Okay, awesome. So you can hear there, even with the really simple kind of texture of the sound, where you only have the single talking voice until the very end, where you get a little bit of outro music. Even with that simple production value, you have high quality sound, you have references to many different sources being cited, experts being mentioned and quoted here. You have several moments of humor, several kind of meaningful, touching takeaways, and just in a 2.5-minute clip there on a relatively, kind of trivial topic. You can see there some of those elements of an effective podcast coming through. So on that note of what the elements of composing an effective podcast are, I want to direct your attention to chapter C, this just excellent how-to guide on how to compose podcast. So meet me over at our ebook on the Canvas course website, and then we'll head into chapter 15. Okay, we're on the Canvas course website. Under modules on the left-hand menu, at the very top there, you see your ebook. Go ahead and click in, open that in a new window, and we're going to navigate to chapter 15. Okay, so chapter 15 starts here on page 356, and pardon my scrolling here. Actually, let me reorient the page so you can see more of it. There you go. So I'm just going to skim through here and remind you again of chapter 15 as well, which walks us through, chapter 5, which is the companion chapter about analyzing multimodal rhetoric. And you've got chapter 15 as well on creating those pieces. So let's click through, and I want to show you, as I was saying, about how to create videos, podcasts, and web pages. Okay, so how to create videos in chapter 15. You've got the pre-production phase, planning the video, answering the basic rhetorical questions about your audience, the purpose. You don't need to pitch your idea to me, but you can walk through and think about the overview, your approach, your story, how you're going to conclude, what types of visuals you're going to incorporate. You'll, of course, want to write the script, plan any actual shots you'll need to record yourselves, or brainstorm a list of B-roll that you'll want to gather, create a storyboard, which you've got great examples of how you could create a storyboard here. And then bear with us, folks, if you're not doing a video, just bear with us for a couple of pages and we'll get to your podcast too in a moment. You can plan the sequence of your video here. You can see a great storyboard graphic organizer here with kind of scene or shot 1, 2, 3 organized, schedule any interviews, location visits that you need to do. And this is really kind of heavy on if you're actually shooting or getting footage for the video yourself. But of course, remember, you can find footage, including clips of other videos, still images, voiceover, animation, music, and text. You do not need to do original footage at all, actually, for this course. So let's go ahead and scroll down to the podcast. Pardon the scrolling, y'all. But again, just chapter 15 has such helpful materials. I wanted to make sure you saw it. Standard 3-point lighting. This is all if you are shooting the materials yourself. Okay, so here, oh goodness. Okay, I did want to point out to you here on page 371, the copyright and fair use information, which is what allows you to pull in film or other copyrighted material if you're using it as an illustration, as an example, if you're critiquing or commenting on it, or otherwise using it for educational purposes, okay? So you all are covered under that copyright exception. Okay, here we are on page 373 now. And if you all are doing a podcast for Project 4, please do go through and take a look at these basic steps, deciding on your audience, your purpose, your topic, your theme, and then going through the specific structure, your intro music, introducing the theme of the show, your welcome, your announcements, any interview or your content, final comments, your outro. So you've got a great kind of basic outline here for a podcast that, of course, you can customize and change and adapt, but this is a good place to start for folks who are thinking about a podcast for Project 4. And again, I won't belabor this, but do turn to chapter 15 if you are thinking about those multimodal forms. Okay, let's head back over to our slides. I'm going to keep this video on the shorter side since last week I went on for an hour and 20 minutes, okay? So you have the essentials here. Last week we went over visual rhetoric, chapter 4 and 14. This week, multimodal rhetoric, chapter 5 and 15. Gave you some example podcasts, some tips and strategies, and then that call for the New York Times visual opinion pieces I shared with you as well this week. So you've got some new material and then an opportunity and time to go and complete that Project 4 assignment for next time. This is the week. This is your final assignment, and you will be done with Rhetoric 306 at the University of Texas, and you will pat yourselves on the back or whatever else you would like to do to celebrate. It will be well earned. So that's what you've got ahead of you this week. Let's head back to the slides and make sure you're all set up for next time. Okay, so this week, select your medium for your new audience. Same topic, okay? You're still talking about your Project 3 proposal. You've got all the same research. You're not starting from scratch here, right? You're just trying to meet a new and different audience. Try this multimodal form to see if it can be more effective at reaching a broader audience, okay? So select, are you going to be doing a podcast? Are you going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation, an infographic, a video, one of those TAP essays that I introduced today? Your choice, okay? Make that decision today. And then spend the remainder of the week curating that material, those videos, those audio clips, any visuals, still images, film clips, and any textual content. Of course, as I said, feel free to grab any of your written text you've already composed from previous essays in this course. And then finally, deploy the technological tools that you need to get that project completed. Canva.com, QuickTime is helpful, VidGrid, Unsplash, you can get those high resolution images. PowerPoint, of course, Wix is where to go if you want to create a website, although I didn't see many folks interested in doing that one, but I will look forward to seeing if you do. So that's your work for this week. And then for next time, make sure to fill out the course instructor survey if you haven't yet. Here's the QR code that you can scan. I've also linked the course instructor survey at the bottom of the modules page on the Canvas course website. Okay, so please upload your multimodal Project 4 for 10% of the course grade by Monday. If you have any questions at all, any concerns, if you want help, if you want to touch base about a previous assignment, if you have any missing work, please, now is the time to contact me. jsapio@utexas.edu is where you can find me. I've got office hours on Wednesdays, or I'm happy to schedule another time at your convenience. Best of luck this week. And it has, as I said, truly been a pleasure and an honor to share this space digitally with you all this semester. I have enjoyed reading your thoughts and your work, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Y'all take care.